What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some kind of troubling news when it comes to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Look, if you've been following the channel, whether it's Infinite Wealth specific videos or even just kind of casual conversation, live streams, or videos, you might have heard me say how freaking excited I am for this game, okay? This is one of my most anticipated games of the year. I cannot wait. This is the game for me. You know, I mean, it's early in the year for sure, but it's very, very much something I'm looking forward to, okay? Now, we've already had, like, the Kiryu, Young Ya, drama, and that's still kind of lingering, and it's still going to kind of pop up when, 8 or Infinite Wealth comes out, okay? That's already been something that the internet has had to combat, and you've had to pick sides and kind of had your hot takes and all that jazz. This is pretty bad. I got to be real. And so while I'm very much, looking forward to this game, and call me a hypocrite, you can do it. It's okay. I'm not going to get too mad at you. I am going to support this game in terms of buying it because as we've talked about many times, I'm excited. But this practice, what they're doing here, this is not good. And this is kind of like an era I thought we were long done with. It reminds me of like the late 2000s and maybe like early even 2010s. And I don't know why it's back, but a lot of things actually from that era, movie tie-in games that are complete garbage, those went away for a while and now they're back. Certain things, were always terrible. They went out of fashion, they stopped, and then now they're back for whatever reason. But what am I talking about? Well, this was actually spotted a while ago. I would give credit to the IGNs and all these Twitter users that are posting it. But to be real, people spotted this like a few days ago and nobody really, I guess, cared until, the mainstream gaming journalists picked it up. What it basically is locking New Game Plus behind upgraded versions of the game. And what I mean, I guess, by that, like deluxe ultimate editions, right? So people have seen like the screenshots of the breakdowns, the different versions of this game at launch. And if you buy it, what do you get? Now, this game, and even, I believe, Like a Dragon, right? They had been known, or even if you look at this game the last several months, you get a lot of, like, cosmetic-like things. You get, like, additional jobs, which, if you've played these, very important, right? And some jobs really come with awesome abilities. Some jobs can make you coast through fights, and some jobs actually hurt you in fights. But, they tie those in to pre-orders, to editions of the game. And I'm not a huge fan of that once it kind of goes beyond cosmetic. But you know what? Every game has their gimmick, right? If you get the deluxe edition, you get X thing. This game, sometimes it's jobs. It's literally some of the move sets that your character can develop in the game. Not a big fan, but, you either buy it or you don't. It's not, you could talk about it all you want, but that's it. You either pay for it or you don't pay for it. New Game Plus not being in the standard edition. Okay, that's the news story. If you buy the game outright, you buy the full game, you do not get New Game Plus is a add-on for two things to talk about, I guess. New Game Plus over the last couple years has, for whatever reason, become an add-on. In fact, when I'm recording this, I had just recorded my Spider-Man video where I also talked about New Game Plus. I don't know why we're doing this. Like, I don't know why we're in this era where games come out, they don't have New Game Plus, and then they add them in 2 to 6 months later. Like, for me, I don't know. Obviously, I've talked a lot about retro games. I have an entire channel dedicated just to retrospectives. I've covered many, many games there. I like games being the full game when they come out. It does feel like a gimmick. It feels like something that over the past few years, developers have realized that it's something you can kind of and it's not a console warrior thing. It's not anything. Sony games are pretty kind of big for doing it. God of War is one. Spider-Man is another. But not even just, not even just console warrior type things. Publishers across the board, whether it be like a Square Enix or a Ubisoft or whatever, many developers and publishers, like I said, for whatever reason, I think have all adopted this idea that New Game Plus, even though many people use it and, it's kind of a classic feature. There's a lot of games that have New Game Plus, and some are more in-depth than others, right? Some kind of build it into the game of what New Game Plus is, what you carry over, and how that kind of changes the experience. Some do it, like, more than others, but New Game Plus it's not in every game, but it's a feature. It's a feature that generally, in my belief, should be part of just like the base game. If you're going to do it, you don't need to have New Game Plus. But if you do have New Game Plus, I feel like the game should launch with it. Okay, that would be my stance. That I feel very confident in saying that's Alex's belief here, is you don't have to do New Game Plus because not every game does. But if you do have it, I would prefer you not to patch it in 6 months later, okay? Now, that is what the modern games have been doing. Well, this game takes it a step further, I would say, in a negative way. Now, I guess in some ways it's actually positive. You get it, I believe, at launch. So this isn't actually a game that you get New Game Plus, 6 months down. At least I think. I don't actually know that for sure, so you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But maybe that's a positive. But the negative is now they're literally making you pay for it. So, like I said, full price. I would say full price. I'm trying to think, is that the right phrase? Full price. You buy the game at launch for, the standard money for the normal edition, just standard edition of the game. And you do not get New Game Plus. You only get New Game Plus if you buy the more deluxe. That, to me, is just not okay. That, to me, again, it almost reminds me, it's not the same thing. But remember, back in the late 2000s or early 2010s of, if you pre-order at Best Buy, you get one thing. If you pre-order at GameStop, you get another thing. And sometimes they just wouldn't let you get the other thing. So if you pre-ordered at GameStop, you lost out on pre-order bonuses that were maybe kind of cool from the other stores, and sometimes games would give it to you later. Sometimes games would actually charge you for them later, and I don't know why that comes up. It's not the same thing, okay? It's definitely not, but I don't know. The vibe I get from this kind of reminds me of that era where it's you're basically charging or incentivizing getting, whether it's higher editions or pre-ordering it here, right, buying it here or there. It's just what it reminds me of. So it's just not a good look, and I want to be positive about this game. And again, call me hypocritical because for as much as I hate this practice, and I don't think it should be supported, but I don't even know what that means. You know what I mean? I really don't. I'm still gonna buy the game. I have to. I really, at the end of the day, I'm excited for this game. This game is going to give me so many hours of probably enjoyment. I guess the game could disappoint me, but I think it's going to make me quite happy as an individual. I think it's going to be, money worth spending, and a product I'm going to be happy that I own. But this is definitely, I think this is something you kind of push back on. You know what I mean? It's up to you how you push back. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I feel like this is something, and I'm glad, I guess, that the internet caught wind of it. I think it caught wind several days late, but it did eventually catch wind. This is something I think you talk about. This is something I think you say, no, why are we, you know what I mean? This is a game that really has a lot of goodwill. The Young Yeah thing definitely hurt that. I think it hurt it for for me, I've always played this game in Japanese. Kiryu, I'm not listening to Kiryu in English. That's just absolutely not something I'm going to do, ever, as long as that character's alive. So bringing him in doesn't, whether I like it or, which, by the way, I think it's not a great choice, but I don't really care. To be honest with you, I don't really care because I'm never going to hear it be on Twitter, be on YouTube compilation clips or whatever. That's the only way I'm ever going to hear it, right? So, yeah, that did hurt the game a little in terms of, the public eye. Probably not in sales, to be honest with you. But this is something, when you make your game digital only, when you make it maybe online only, right? Certain things kind of just, hurt the public perception of the game that are not really necessary, right? Making your game digital only is not really all that necessary. It's not a good look. I personally do not like it at all. Actually, the man who erased his name being digital only, right? That, I'm not a big fan of that. I believe in game preservation, all that jazz. It's just something that you don't really need to do that, adds that look to it where you're oh, yeah, that's the game that did, you know what I mean? That's the game that did that. So instead of this game, which I think beyond Kiryu and beyond this, has a lot of goodwill, and I think a lot of people are excited, and these games generally knock it out of the park and are just, it's a really strong series. But now it's well, is Infinite Wealth going to be looked at as, oh, is that the game that you pay for New Game Plus? That's the one you're talking about? You know what I mean? No, I don't know how many people are actually going to say that, but it's just not, you did not need to do that. You could have had any other incentive for buying it, higher editions, better editions, whatever you want to say. You could have had anything else, given a different costume, whatever, literally whatever. You could have done whatever you wanted to incentivize getting the deluxe or ultimate or whatever editions you want to get. You could have done that. You didn't have to lock part of the game, and I would say that, part of the game. You know, a New Game Plus, I do believe, is part of the game. And to lock it behind money, you lock it behind a paywall, basically, not good. That's something, again, I think you push back on at least a little. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.